When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois, and special guest Tom Bogert. It's the Brady Bunch, American soccer style. We're
God, I wish I had long hair like that.
We're missing like a maid and another stepsister or something.
Did you ever have long hair, Jason?
I can't do long hair. My hair just piles up. It just
Mine too.
does.
I get like full white guy afro, but
Yes.
I never have the balls. I have never have the balls to go beyond a certain point. I get annoyed, and then it's like, nah, just cut it.
Oh,
I
was-
can't get through the awkward phase.
I killed on my socials because it's bad for your mental health. But at one point during the pandemic, mine was long, but not like down this way long. It was just a coif. I was getting height like
yeah,
you
Conan
wouldn't
looks,
believe.
huh?
Yeah, I was a Conan kind of thing. Except I'm not that red. We are here live on a Thursday night again with our special guest Tom Bogert. We're gonna get into some American soccer stuff and some news. And Tommy B's everywhere. Tom, you're everywhere. You're right. I feel like this is sloppy seconds, Jared. A little bit. I don't think we're above sloppy seconds, are we?
Trust me, you should see me in college.
Tom was on. Tom was on Cooligans, the Cooligans today. I know he was with my boy Taylor on the Total Soccer Show.
Yeah, it has been a busy week now that you mention it.
Yeah,
It's not like it's silly season or anything, you know.
Everybody wants to talk to the guy with all the information, so there is that. We have a couple of things lined up for Tom that are not necessarily about him breaking transfer news. I got a game lined up. I think Jared's got a game lined up.
You have a bit lined up. I have a game lined up.
Oh, are you trying to minimize my work?
You're right. There is a choice involved. Huh? I forgot.
There's a choice involved.
Just know that I can fake an important phone call at any point if I don't like the content coming out. Sorry, guys, got to take this, bro. So, and I will say,
it's Fabricio. I got to go.
Like you don't live on text. Come on.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Let me just say though, I know you've sloppy seconds. I'm gonna come in a little strong here. I broke my normal 9 p.m. Eastern live show. I usually just say no right off the bat to that, but for you guys, of course.
That's very cool. Thank you.
I'm assuming there's a cocktail we can't see. If it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast.
He did send me a picture of the Knicks game, so I know my man Tom is watching his beloved
happy.
Knicks. Now, Tom, this is a question I have for you. So before we get to any news or play any games, what's more stressful, tracking the breaking transfer news, trying to get that source to confirm the story, or rooting for the New York Knicks?
The Knickerbockers, 1,000%. It's been a great season, but so I'm 28, right? So I wasn't cognitively alive for through 2001 they were good, right? 95 to 01. I don't have obviously zero memory of any of that.
Right.
My
Is
entire
that the Marcus
lifetime-
Camby years? Is that the one?
Like the John Starks years.
Yeah, all that. I talked to older Knick fans talking about how great the 90s were, and I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. You know what? I had one Carmelo Anthony year. That's it for 2 decades. But here we are, man. Jalen
He's
Brunson.
26. I got cleats older than him, Jason.
But Carmelo Anthony did do some of the best custom sneakers ever. Puerto Rico FC custom sneakers when he was.
Good Lord.
That was a
It wouldn't be
legend,
an
bro.
episode without you getting Puerto Rico in the damn show somehow.
Let the record show my dog is named Mello. Just putting
There
it
you
up.
go. Carmelo Anthony, half Puerto Rican. I'm not, but I'm married to one. I have to rep. It's the way that this works. Okay.
I didn't know that, by the way. Not that you were married to Puerto Rican, but that Carmelo Anthony was half Puerto Rican. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, that's why he invested in Puerto Rico FC because he was convinced to do that.
I love Mello, but he claims a lot of hometowns. He claims New York City. He
So does
claims
Jason.
Baltimore, he claims
No.
Puerto Rico.
So does Jason.
Don't come to me. Go to Taylor Twellman. That's the reference you need to make. Taylor Twellman claims half of America as his hometown.
You're
That's
pretty
a
close,
fact.
dude.
That's a fact. Okay. I don't have a hometown. I'm an orphan of America. That's the problem. I don't have
Wow.
The American
I don't have a
dream.
place to call my own. So again, we want to play some games and have some fun with Tom and learn a little bit more about the guy who has become the go-to man for all the transfer news. But there's some stories out there. When I announced that you were coming on, I put the thumbnail up on the YouTube. And by the way, Tom's YouTube is killing it. It's fantastic. Make sure you go check it out. I know more people are subscribed over there than are here, so I know he's doing well. But when I put it up, I got a message from another soccer writer. I don't know if he wants me to identify him, and he was like, "It's a great time for you to have Tom on." And I was like, why? He's like, because this Jesus Ferreira Spartak Moscow story is bonkers. And I was like, okay, well, explain to me like I'm 5, like it's a Reddit thread, why it's crazy. And he said because it would probably be illegal. Tom, would it be illegal for FC Dallas to sell Jesus Ferreira to Spartak Moscow?
So look, I promise I'm going to be fun on the show. I like being loose. We're friends, so it's easy for me to let my guard down and everything. I'm going to try to be as serious and careful as possible when I'm talking about United States and Russia and possible business dealings.
He's not going to nuke you. You don't know. You don't. Come on.
So I'm going to go kind of the straight factual stuff, right? Like, so Dallas got a bid from Spartak. It was something that they would have accepted. And they didn't immediately reply to Spartak because they knew of the sensitivities of this. They knew that MLS stepped in when the Red Bulls were close to selling Christian Cáceres to Lokomotiv Moscow in the winter of 22. So there's already a precedent for this. And again, just the geopolitical environment. And also there's a blacklist of Russian businesses that you 1000% cannot do business with. And then what was described to me, and I don't know if this is the official term or not, but there's like a gray list that's like, they're not fully blackballed, but be careful kind of thing, right? And like it like keep your security up. Right. So Dallas pretty quickly talked to MLS about it. Again, and the representation for Jesus Ferreira were interested in it. They started talking personal terms, and they also started looking at the legalities, right? Like they, Spartak Moscow as a club, they're not on the blackball list, right? But they have owners, they have sponsors, those sponsors have owners, and all entities understood they needed to be super careful with this. It's the players representation's position that there wouldn't be anything necessarily like illegal or whatever, but it's kind of understood that it's understood, right? Like it's not like they're not thrilled that it's not going to happen, but all parties are like, yeah, I understand.
You can't really be pissed about it. You can't really be mad if you're Jesus or his people, because
I can't be mad if you're. You can't be mad at MLS either. They have a vested interest in what they have to be protected. I mean, who does to know if that $13 million can even make it through any type of transaction right now, and if the league's ever going to see their portion of that money. But put the Russia side of this, the economic side, the sanction side of this aside for a moment, Tom.
I would love to. Thank you.
Is $13 million the right amount of money for Jesus Ferreira?
That's way too much.
Agreed.
My God, I quite like Jesus Ferreira. Like I want that on the record. That is way too much. Like I had to see. Is that an exchange rate issue? Like I had to look and see. Like is that right?
You know what it is? Nobody else is doing business with Spartak Moscow. Correct. They have to pay a premium.
So Spartak tonight just agreed a deal. I don't know the player's name, but a player from Utrecht. They agreed a $13 million deal with a player from Utrecht. Like, there's the money, right? Like, so it was real. It was happening.
The Dutch authorities are like, yeah, go ahead. No problem.
And what does it say about Jesus? Does he need out of MLS so bad that he would take that? Or is it more like Dallas is like, hey, someone's offering $13 million, dude. Like, we got to consider this.
Well, there's definitely this attitude from Placata. I lost respect for Jesus. WTF? Careful. Like obviously, some people might see this. I know there's certainly this group of people on the internet that are like, how dare MLS get in the way of the free market? Like that's definitely a thing. The other side is like, why would Jesus Ferreira want to go to Moscow? Like, does he not understand the political situation?
Wait, hold on. Go.
Well, no, should we strip that out? I mean, he's a player, right? He just wants to play football. He just wants to play the game. And if somebody's offering $13 million for you, it's kind of hard to say no to that, right?
No, I thought the whole critique of Jesus Ferreira is that he wouldn't test himself in Europe. But now he's stupid for going to this Europe versus
only certain kinds of Europe, Tom. We only like certain kinds.
It's only half Europe, right? Isn't Russia only half Europe?
That's true. A lot of it is Asia, technically speaking,
The finer print of this, right, is that, and again, FC Dallas are viewed correctly as a lower spending team in MLS, right? What is funny, the juxtaposition of this is that they gave Jesus Ferreira a great and well-deserved, I want to point out, a great and well-deserved $2 million a year contract.
Yep.
Not a lot of teams in Europe that want Jesus Ferreira can match that.
Right.
Honest to God, it would be
right.
So like look, so there was a club, Sevilla, that won the Europa League last year. And I know they're struggling this year. They had some interest. I don't know how serious or whatever. No bid was ever made, but it was kind of like, all right, what are his salary expectations as we kind of consider our targets? They wouldn't be able to match a deal. The Europa League winners wouldn't be able to match a deal that FC Dallas did. And not because they don't have $2 million, but because it's like, all right, if we pay Jesus Ferreira $2 million or more per season, we're going to get 15 guys in our locker room that are asking for new contracts. Right. And so that's the reality, that he's at a stage of his career where he's not going to go from Dallas to Liverpool or Bayer Leverkusen even, right? Like, he's at a spot where he needs to go to a stepping stone kind of club.
Yeah. And
stepping stone kind of clubs don't pay $10 million transfer fees and $3 million contracts.
No, we talked about it with Ricardo Pepi. We were shocked that he got the number he got from PSV. And that's a team that is right now was undefeated. Do they draw or they lose? I know they're not perfect anymore, but that is a top team in Holland that can barely afford the money that they're paying for Ricardo Pepi. So who's going to pay for Jesus Ferreira at a similar level? Yeah. That being said, is this the time for Jesus Ferreira to go?
Yes.
I mean, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
that's part of it too, right? Like, he's 23 and like, he's still a younger guy, but the longer you go, the less of the transfer fee number.
He doesn't remember the Knicks being good either.
Yeah, few people do, to be fair. But like the 13 million, don't set that as a market price. Like, don't expect that Dallas are now going to hold out for that. Like, I'm sure they would love to, right? But probably not. I mean,
what's the floor?
If I, again, this is no inside information. I want to stress that I'm not speaking on behalf of sources for FC Dallas. But my best guess, I think they would take 7-8, depending on the structure, depending on sell-on, depending on who the club is, right? Like, so, but I don't know that for a fact. But I mean, I think all parties like Dallas don't want to stand in his way either. It's more about like both parties finding the right spot and understanding that, hey, it's time for a new step or whatever. Like, hey, I'd be open to this, and we just need to figure it out. It's just they haven't found the right spot.
Well, I've heard some clubs in Mexico are dropping some cash on American players.
Look at Club America had interest last winter, and then they ultimately never made a bid. But Club America is a team that likes them.
To talk about MLS in this offseason, this window right now, I want to talk real quick. Let's talk about the two LA teams. LAFC. Is there anything? Obviously, in John Thornton, you have what's potentially or arguably the best GM over the last 4 years, and the wholesale clear out that they're doing right now, is it calculation to? And there's something coming that we don't see, but they've got 16 guys on their roster right now. Like, is this more than even John Thornton can replace in 30 days?
You're doubting John Thornton? Come on,
it's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
I think John Thornton is addicted to overturning the roster every 2 windows. Like, I don't know. Even when they won MLS Cup in 22, they were leading the Supporters Shield race during the first half of the season, and then they signed like 7 players in the summer, right? And then that winter they transferred Chicho Arango because they didn't want to give him a new contract, and now the stuff's going on with Belonga. Like, again, I think Thornton even said this like word for word on his press conference today of like, more or less, we've earned the benefit of the doubt. And that's where I'm at with them is like, yeah, they're like, I disagreed personally with the Chicho Arango stuff, right? But they still got to 3 finals last season. So they, hey, maybe they win one, but like, you can't really doubt it. And they have done so many deals. They've overturned the roster. It's really, really difficult to do that in MLS. And they've overturned it like 3 times in the last 4 or 5 years and been successful pretty much the whole time, except for one season. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
As opposed to the Galaxy, who have no benefit of the doubt, except Will Kuntz came from LAFC.
Yeah, you have that. But I think with LAFC, is it more that they can't start their offseason until the Vela and Bouanga situations are settled? Is that really, is it a step, like a domino? Once that's done, the rest fall into place?
Bouanga, yes, but they're still operating as if 1,000% he's coming back. Like, that's what they want. He wants a new contract, and they're like, bro, you got 3 years left on your deal, whatever, right? Like, these are the things that happen.
So you think the talk about him going to France is just to get him a better contract?
Correct. But it stems from wanting a new contract and not being thrilled that not only he's not getting the offer he wants, he's just not getting any offer from what I heard a few weeks ago, right?
Right.
So part of that.
It's not like a missing France or a croissant issue or something. It's not that.
And that was the thing. It was like, oh, he kind of wants to go home. And it's like, no, like maybe he does, but no, what he wants is more money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just be real here, right? Like, and I don't, again, he had a insane season. I don't blame him for asking for a new contract, right? And the argument for Bouanga is hey, I overperformed my contract. I'm a DP. If you pay me more, it doesn't do anything to the salary cap. So their argument with Chicho Arango was, you're not like, we can't give you any more money, or we just don't have any money in the salary cap. Sorry, bro. Bouanga's different. You can pay him whatever you want.
Well, and there's a precedent issue, right? I'm sure if it's like, okay, if we say yes to Boanga, I mean, to your point about Sevilla, if they sign Jesus Ferreira, if they give Boanga a new deal, everybody else is going to come with their hands out and go, hey, what about us? And it's going to cost you more to bring in the next guy.
So if we go just south of the 91 freeway, Tom, and we go into Carson, and we have the LA Galaxy.
It's not LA though, right? Technically speak.
LA County.
He did say Carson.
I
know he did. I know he did. He's not claiming it. I know that's.
Trust me, I live here enough, and I hear this shit enough that I know what to say about it, how to not step in the cow patty. That is that argument. With the Galaxy, you have what seems like Will Kuhn's working and doing some cooking, but we keep hearing about Peck. He's not announced. There's nothing announced yet. We hear maybe Pencil, but he's finishing up AFCON. Are these things? Are you feeling like these things are close to being getting across the line, or are they two very different things? One's closer, one's farther. The Pencil stuff seems to be all over the place. There's reports coming out both ways. He doesn't want to come. His coach isn't preparing for him to come back. Where should Galaxy fans feel right now?
Peck is done. He's with the Brazilian U23s at the Olympic qualifying, so there's no real urgency, right? Like, I mean, maybe that there's some administrative stuff that it's not like officially 1,000% done, but it's not like they're worried or anything as far as I've asked around.
So it's more have him here and announce him in person rather than doing it.
Maybe. I mean, I didn't ask for any reasoning, but I did talk to somebody a week ago, and I was like, look, like my understanding is this is done. Should I start asking people like what's up? And they were like, no, like you're good, don't worry. Like the Pansa one is interesting because I think he's the better player. I mean, he's the older player. He's in his prime. He has more of a pedigree again with what he's done in Belgium. That one would be, I think, a phenomenal sign if they get it done.
Sorry, had a malfunction there. Didn't mean to do
8.5.
that.
8.5 is the
trying
release.
To interrupt the Galaxy chat. My bad. Go ahead, Tom.
8.5 would be the release. 8.5 million would be the release clause. And that would be wildly fair for a player like this who had 17 goals and 14 assists last season. Like that is phenomenal, right? Like, and he's the kind of, if you built a player in a lab to play as a winger with Ricky Pooch, he'd be it. You need somebody who has final third quality and can score goals first and foremost. Second of all, he plays like a wide forward, not like a winger. If that makes not the best way to describe it, but like Diego Fagundes is going to want to come in, get on the ball, and combine. Hansel wants to play as like a Bawanga role, get in behind, go score goals, get in the final third. So you need that balance in the team, and that was part of the reason why they've struggled in the past. They've had some talent, they've been super inconsistent, but it's been a lot of overlapping stuff. That's why they gave up so many goals. They were losing games 4-3 because they had a lot of redundancies. So again, like I think that's my favorite thing that Will Kuntz has identified and been like, all right, we're not just throwing trying to find as many good players and throw it at the wall. Like, no, we want a profile for this, a profile for that, and then everything will come together. Yeah,
I think Galaxy fans are very happy with what the Kuntz era has done so far in a short period of time. But when you look around the league right now and you see all the different teams and what's going on, which team do you look at and say, okay, they're still going to make a lot of waves before this window's closed?
LAFC is the easy one, but we've already talked about them. Chicago Fire for sure. They're absolutely going to bring in a DP number 9. From what I've heard, it's going to be a very, very big deal. Whatever the budget is there for
Lewandowski. I got it. He's got the right last 3 letters in his name for Chicago.
Let's go. Man wants to eat some pierogies in Chicago for sure. Chicago, let's go.
So they'll take a huge swing on a DP9. The idea and the expectation is that Jairo Torres will be transferred out after a very disappointing 2 seasons, which would open up another DP spot, and then they'll try to bring in another DP attacker. They still have issues on the roster, right? But if you bring in those 2 DPs, and if you hit on both, if they do end up signing Kellen Acosta, which things change every day, but if you had to ask me right now, I'd say they're favorites for Kellen Acosta, not like anything that's imminent or foregone conclusion. He still hasn't made a decision, but just those 3 players would change a lot of things if those 2 DPs hit.
I mean, financially, they're still eating on John Duran, who's getting a lot of heat again for another move. So who knows? And I mean, obviously,
can you imagine a league where Chicago Fire is competitive again? I can't.
Oh, be amazing.
It's been a long time. When is the last time you would consider them like actually? You think that
they had the 1 year with Dax? They had the 1 year with Dax in the Georgie's breakout year, and they made the playoffs for the first time. But they were actually good that year. Nemanja Nikolic.
Okay, yeah, Nicholas
that's literally it
that year. Yeah.
That's literally it.
Like, I'm going back to the anti-Razov
Blanco.
days. You know,
No,
like
no,
that's how Damani
decent.
Ralph.
They were
Like,
decent during
Ralph.
Blanco's run, and Tom said they made the playoffs.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. I guess that passes as good in Chicago.
All right,
Just
one
making the playoffs.
more, because I know people really want to pick Tom's brain. Anything for the champs? Anything happening in Ohio?
The best work that they did was it was one before that they even played in the final, and then two right before their championship parade. They re-signed Darlington Nagbe to a new contract during the playoffs. That makes him not a DP this year, so they could add a DP if they want to. They could add a young DP if they want to. And then right before the parade, they announced deals to re-sign Rudy Camacho and Steven Ferreira, which I wasn't sure if they're going to be able to do. So literally right now, the only player that they're missing from last year's championship team is Julian Gressel. And I am as big of a Julian Gressel fan as there is out there. He wasn't starting in the playoffs.
No.
I think he should have been, but he wasn't, right? Like, so Columbus looks at this where they're bringing back all 11 playoff starters, everybody but one player that was playing off the bench. And oh, by the way, Wilfred Dante has shown, you just give me really talented guys from the second team, I'll make it work. You give me this person, it'll make it work. Alexandru Matan, they were ready to get rid of him for nothing back to Romania. No. Let me see him in preseason. I'll make it work. So it's less about more transfers and more about it's very difficult to keep together a championship team, and they did that.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen back-to-back championships as well. Like I can't.
Could be.
Seattle
Could be a
did it, or
thing.
Toronto? No, Toronto. It's been a while.
Galaxy was left, right?
The
Galaxy's last one.
11, 12.
Yeah, that's how bad it is in Galaxy Land. He doesn't even remember.
Listen, that is absolute truth, man. And honestly, with Seattle and Toronto, they were just in it the final so many.
They
years.
were in it.
Oh my
They were
God,
in it.
yeah.
Back of like
Yeah.
which ones were the actual.
Yeah, I think I
Three
told
times in
the
4
story
years.
that the first time I met Tom was on the streets of Seattle. We were
I
just
paid for an Uber for you.
Oh man,
Did
you
you?
better
Nice guy,
clarify.
Tom.
Is that right? Man, that's not
You
what
were
I
like,
remember
oh,
at
bro,
all.
I could expense it. I was like, dude, you're Jason Davis. Let me jump in a ride with you.
Usually when Jason's on the streets
that.
and people are giving him money, it's for something else.
No, look at that. He went ahead and did that. All right. So in addition to all the transfer talk, we want to have some fun with Tom. And I believe my man, Jared Dubois, the game master, has prepared a game. Now, let me drop this in because we do the drops on this show. I made this.
You, Kendall. Don't talk to Tom like that.
So we got a little drop for Tom as well. Inaugurated. You are official now.
I
The
love
Best
that.
Soccer Show. All right, Jared, what you got? What you got
All
for
right,
my man, Tommy B?
tonight's game is a game called Respect Your Elders. Okay, both a lesson for Tom as he tosses the guys 20 years older than him, and also a throwback to. I'm not going to describe the game just yet because I want you to make a decision before we do it. I'm going to say 4 teams, MLS teams. Okay, you're not going to know why you're picking it just yet. I just wanted you to pick a team that you're going to play with. Okay.
Right.
You can choose, and Tom as our guest, you can choose first out of New York Red Bulls / Metro Stars, DC United, Philadelphia Union, and LA Galaxy. What team would you like to play with?
New Jersey guy, I got to go Metro Stars, Red Bulls, right?
Okay.
It feels like this feels like a trap. It feels like you knew that's what I was
It's not
gonna
a
pick,
trap,
so
but
I'm just saying.
as it's something a game called Respect Your Elders, you may have to go deep, and I wanted you to be able to go
Dayton
deep.
University, Union, New Jersey's very own.
If you're going to go deep, I want you at least have something in your wheelhouse you could potentially go deep with. Jason, what do you
I'll
want
go
to
down
with?
to this.
Man, all right, I'll just.
I
I'll
gave
rep
you
for-
your hometown too. DC.
I know. I'll rep for the local. I'll say DC United.
Puerto Rico Islanders.
That's
Hometown.
right. That's right.
Okay, this game, Respect Your Elders. I have compiled first of all, right hand in the air.
Oh,
I will not Google.
I
will
went out
not
yet.
Google.
Okay, all right.
Have
They
to
can
say
put
like
up
this
2
also.
hands. I
We don't have to
appreciate
we don't actually have to say so help us God or anything.
that.
like
Yeah, and also the right hand up. You will not look at the chat, even though the chat
Okay.
sometimes doesn't help.
I got to kill the
Um,
chat. Damn.
All right, so
I'm on the private chat.
What I've compiled is the top 75 appearance leaders for each of these teams. So I want you're going to get 10 guesses each, and it doesn't matter. You just somewhere in here. It doesn't. But every time you guess, let's say you were to guess the second highest appearance, you're going to get 2 points for number 2. You want the lowest score possible after 10 guesses.
All right, we're golfing it. Let's go.
Okay.
Cool. Then I'm
So-
just gonna do dudes who don't have any appearances. They don't make the list.
Nah.
Yeah,
no, they
plus 50. Plus 50 if you don't make
Plus
it.
50. He thought he found a loophole. He thought he found a loophole.
So, as our guest, would you like to go first or second, Tom?
I'll go first.
You go first. Okay. Give me any name that you would like
Jared,
to get off the board.
Before you
Yes.
get into this,
Yes.
let's keep our mic technique solid for the listeners at home. I just want to make sure.
Get over it. I got to look this way a little bit.
I know you do. That's what I'm telling you.
All right. First,
Luis
who would you
Robles.
like to go with? Luis Robles is the number 1.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so Tom off with the bang. Jason Davis on the DC United. Who you going with?
Oh my God, the number 1 DC United.
Don't feel threatened to get the number 1 just because he did.
Yeah, no. Ben Olsen.
Ben Olsen, the
Good
number 4
Really?
all-time appearance leader. Yes. Volley back to your court, Tom. Who are you going to go with on New York?
My guy, Bradley Wright Phillips.
Bradley Wright Phillips, number 2 on the
Wow.
list.
Wow.
I might get smacked here. This might be the.
DC United was kind of a tough pull for this. I'm not going to lie. While there
I
are
know.
some incredible names, some of those names were that 96-97 season. They didn't get a lot of
That's- yeah.
appearances, but
I'm gonna say Jaime Moreno then.
Jaime Moreno, the number 1 on DC United
Well done.
with 386 appearances.
Oh
A
my
lot
God.
of appearances.
As a
Oh.
non-goalkeeper, to just give context, Luis Robles 281, 100 more games for DC United.
Wow.
And Jaime Moreno went to the Metro Stars for a hot second.
Yeah, that's true. He might be on this list over here. Well, you just gave him one, dude.
so.
What a-
I don't think so.
all right, Tom, back to you.
Oh, Dax McCarty.
Dax McCarty, the number 4 on the list.
This team has so much turnover. Wow.
Man. Wow. All right, I'll say Eddie Pope.
Eddie Pope is the number 14 on the list. Okay, not
Didn't seem
bad.
very confident.
I mean, I didn't think he was going to be top 10, so I knew I was kind of.
If you see me starting to hit Control F and typing the name, that's not a good sign.
That's bad. That's bad news.
All right, Tom, what are you gonna go with your 4th pick?
He was there for a long time. Connor Lade. I know he retired early, but I'm going to say
Connor
Lade.
Lade is a sneaky 12th.
That's
That's a sneaky
interesting.
12th, man. I was really
Connor
surprised.
Imagine if
by
he
that
didn't
number.
retire at 29 or whatever it was.
Yeah, Connor Lade had 153 appearances and
Oh,
115 of those starts. All right, Jason Davis,
Wow.
DC United. There's some big names here. It's just a matter of whether how
I'm,
high on the
I'm
list they are.
sure. I'm sure there are some big names, and I'm
This
trying
doesn't
to
mean you're going to
be-
kick yourself for sure. But
Yeah, but this is the problem with being under the gun.
well, I'll tell you this: they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys over 200 appearances.
All right, I'll say Bobby Boswell then.
Bobby Boswell, he is up here. I know that. I saw him. Bobby Boswell is number 8. So good pull
Okay.
on that. But good pull.
Cool.
Shout out to BobbyBoswell.com for the old heads. Tom, what you got?
My guy Sasha collection has to be somewhere within the top 15.
Sasha is in here. I may have to Google. No, there he is.
Oh, no.
28. Not bad.
Oh!
Not bad. 28.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Should have been
remember
much
the
longer.
The
I
Chivas
wanna-
years took some off of that, you know.
I want to die on this hill. They should never have traded him.
no, of
Oh,
course,
for
not.
sure.
course
For
not.
sure. The Sasha, the letting go
Man.
Sasha and Dax was really,
Yeah.
really rough times for doing
Yeah.
Ripples.
Okay.
All right, Jason, DC United, what do you got?
Oh, I feel I'm like, do I have to go way back, or can? And I'm sure I'm missing like a massive goalkeeper name.
Yes.
All right, I'll say Nick Raimondo. I don't know how many.
Nick
games he
Romano
had.
is not the one you should be thinking of, but he is on the list. Let me just find it
Is he?
right here.
He's
He is
down
on
there
the list. Yeah, he
somewhere.
was drafted. Oh my god.
There's a
It was
control.
like
F.
4 or 5 years because he went from Miami to DC and then to Real Salt
Nick
Lake
Romano,
and
number 34 on the
That's
list
not a
with
good one.
106 caps.
miss.
That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, honest to God. I didn't know he had
Yeah.
more than 100 appearances.
He had so many years with RSL, you forget that he was with the other one as well, with DC. Okay, Tom.
So this is the thing, man, because there's a lot of names that come up to me from like the early Metro years. But like, I
Mhm.
don't think that they were there for
Do
that
they
long.
Stick around.
I want to say I'm not going to say Michael Bradley because I know that he was out very quickly.
16 to
Um,
18, I think he was his 16-year-olds to 18 years.
Yeah, it
old.
wasn't-
We're
yeah,
gonna
it
have
wasn't
to
very long.
intervene.
Baby, he was a baby.
So all right, I have to say Thierry Henry. He was pretty durable. I know he was only 4 or 5 years. but
Thierry
he was
Henry is
durable
number
over that time.
21, the respectable
21.
21.
I'll take that.
Man,
All
I'm
right.
missing a like midfield. I'm missing players all over the field. I know that. I will say. Ah, crap. Now his name's not going to come to me, and that's going to.
If you describe it to me, that's okay. Well, if you can describe the player. to
Yeah,
me,
I'll
okay.
allow that.
Yeah, that's totally allowed.
You know that one guy?
I would.
He played a lot.
All right, Troy Perkins then. Where's
Troy Perkins is on this. I saw him on it. Let's see here. Troy Perkins, number 32. Still not the goalkeeper you should be thinking of.
No, probably not. I don't know what's going on with my head. I'm missing somebody.
All right, Tom.
I don't have a ton of confidence in this. First goal scorer ever, Gio Severese.
Let me search this.
Ooh, Gio. He's got to search for Gio.
I thought he had at least.
No, he's 43, 96 caps.
Number 43. Don't love that.
How many guesses in are we at this point?
At this point, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's done 7.
He's done 7. You've done 6.
I'm done 6. I got to come up with 4 more players.
DC United players, come on.
I don't know why it's just not happening.
You're telling me that when you close your eyes, when you close your eyes and think of a DCU player, who comes into your mind?
It's a good question. Moreno comes into my mind, obviously.
Tom was even giving you a hint, dude. He was scratching the back of his neck.
Why is that? I'm not okay. I'm telling you, I'm under
Bolivian.
pressure.
Can I
Arce? Am I thinking that the
Raul
wrong
Diaz
one?
Arce is a name, so we will go with Raul Diaz Arce. He is on this list. I saw him.
That's not who you're thinking of. That's
That
why
is not who I'm thinking of.
again,
Same
I
time
have
period.
brain
They're on
break.
the team together.
No, of
Number
course,
53 for Raul Diaz Arce.
53. See,
All right, Tom. New York. 3 left.
Aaron Long.
Aaron Long is
a
up
good
there.
one.
Number 7.
good one.
Top 10.
Is he
number
really?
Number
Wow.
7 for Aaron Long. 175 appearances.
Wow.
Jason.
All right. Look, I admit that I'm having a brain block on whoever this big. You're right. I'm going to hear it and go, what the.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
this is
say
gonna-
Tom is far enough ahead of you right now. I'll let you play off the Philly list too.
Is he really that far ahead? Okay, well then I'm going to punt Santino Carranza.
Santino Carranza is on it's number 12 on the DC United list.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Now, between all the lines of coke, he did 180 appearances.
You're not supposed to do that.
My man is living a great, clean life now with a beautiful family.
That's Baltimore's pride and joy, Santino Carranza. Don't go after him like
My
that.
bad, but man, it was awesome.
I mean, I know that's well documented. I'm just saying.
Fun time, I'm sure.
You should think of
A good
that
hang.
time period, Santino Carranza, because that time period has a lot of players on this list.
Okay.
All right,
I'm already
2 left
done.
for
I'm already
Tom.
cooked.
2 left for Tom. I'll be surprised if you get the number 3, Tom. I would never have guessed this, but
I don't love my chance of that. I think I'm just trying to hit pars for the rest of this one. Just hit in like the 10 to 25 range. This sounds like recency bias, but I feel like John Tolkien has been in our lives forever. Is John Tolkien somewhere up there? He's played like every game.
John Tolkien is number 37 with 102 caps already.
Not
Very
bad.
respectable. Number 37. Jason, 2 left.
Yeah, man, I'm having trouble even pulling one name right now.
Struggling too.
Why
Still can't think of that keeper, huh?
I don't. Yeah,
He literally was with him till last year.
with them until last year. What? Why am I?
Can you think of the guy who was captain for the last 5 years, I think?
Yeah, this is not happening for me for some reason. Like, maybe I have too much information in my brain. I can't pull the proper stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
it's-
In this case,
Okay.
I'm going to make you pass. Tom, give me
right.
one last one.
Tim Cahill? I don't think that he was there for long enough. I don't love this.
Ooh, let's see.
Nah, Timmy Cahill only.
It was either him or Mike Pecky, and I went with Cahill.
A different Tim came up. Hold on. Let me find
Oh.
Tim Cahill, number 62 with 72 appearances.
What was Mike Pecky if
Well, Mike Pecky is way up there. Number 5.
I'm
Number
an idiot.
5 with 197
Well-
appearances for them. All
All
right,
right,
Jason.
I'm a moron.
Put me out of my misery. Put me out of my
Jason,
misery.
real quick. Let me just
Yeah.
give you the people in the top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Number
Yeah.
2, Bill Hamid.
I literally forgot Bill Hamid existed. I'm sorry. I don't
Number
know why.
3, Steve Birnbaum. That's maybe kind of tough because
Oh.
he doesn't get a lot of
3?
He doesn't get a lot of. He doesn't get a lot of like play.
That's
when
awesome.
People talk about it, but
Inconsistent,
like
though.
269 caps.
Good for
Brian
him.
Namoff, 226.
Wouldn't have gotten that.
Name off. That is a
This one you're gonna
throwback.
kick yourself, Jason.
Name
Marco
off- name off it.
Echeverry.
That's the name. Yeah, of course. Marco Echeverri.
Number 7, another sneaky one. Clyde Sims with 210
No,
appearances.
I got nothing for you
Clyde
there.
Sims.
Number 9, Nick DeLeon. Number 10,
Nick DeLeon is number 9.
Number 9 with 200 appearances.
Wow.
Number 10, Richie Williams.
See, I thought about Richie Williams.
You looked right over him. I don't know how. You looked right over him. All right. And if on Tom's side, what he didn't get, he got the number 1, number 2, number 4, number 7 of the top 10. What he didn't get, number 3, you could have had me guess all week. I never would have got Sean Davis with 208 caps.
Yeah, I mean he started
He was there for like 7 years. What am I doing?
208
Sean
caps.
Davis.
Number 5.
He's my age, and if I played against him in high school, that's on me. He was in my area. I should have. That's true.
Forgot about him too. That's pretty sad, actually. All right.
All right. At number 5, you mentioned him, Mike Pecky. Number 6, Dane Richards. Dane Richards.
Dude, I used to love that guy.
Number 8,
Man.
the great white hope, John Wallenick.
John Wallenick. Of course, you have to go.
He's there
John
forever.
Wallenick.
Number 9, Carlos Mendez, and number 10, Seth Stamler. Now, when we play the game, what's the all-time MLS veteran? We always say we should start saying Seth Stamler. The veteran you never remember that was always in the league. That's Seth Stamler.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's the ones you're in your top 10. I'm not going to count it up because Tom won.
I know Tom won. I mean, it would have been rude of me to beat our guest on his first Best Soccer Show appearance. That's
okay.
That's what that is.
Thank you so much.
And now, as Jared said, I don't have a game. I have a bit.
Torture chamber.
This bit is called "How Good Is Tom's Mustache?" Okay, we're gonna play this, and I want
this is great for the podcast listeners, by the way.
No, I know there's going to be. We're going to describe all of these people. They know these people. They can visualize. I didn't pull any random people you've never heard of. That would be.
By the way, credit to Jason for not looking in the chat because Echeverri came up many times.
I'm sure he did. Chris Pontius.
Chris Pontius.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do have a dad brain handicap. Thank you, Aaron. Yes. That is exactly what's going on. My kid was screaming upstairs. You're going to go to his first soccer thing this weekend? Yeah. All right, here we go.
Dad card.
How good is Tom's mustache? And I've gathered some of the great mustaches in history. We can start with. I mean, come on. This is Tom.
Okay. What is this? Is there some CGI here? Because you don't have the space on your upper lip now. But what is that space right there?
I don't know.
I think that's just a lip. It's a lip curl thing happening.
Me trying to look inquisitive, apparently. Somebody.
The fact that you're being compared to Tom Selleck at all is
that wouldn't be the picture. Tom Selleck wins no matter what forever, but like that wouldn't be the picture I would use for me. That's it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yes, maybe I didn't.
But
put you in your
before we
best
go
light.
too far into this, is there a mustache muse that you are patterning yourself or that you were inspired by?
Nah, I mean, I've jokingly referred to myself when I was younger as the men's league Sasha Kleshin, so I always defer to Sasha. But Tom Selleck is the one that I get the most.
Now here's the thing. So maybe Jared doesn't know this. Jared, have you ever grown a beard or a mustache? Have you ever chosen that path?
I've been lazy for 2 weeks.
That's
I've never like.
No, because what you might not understand is that there's now I've
never had to groom it.
I suppose Tom could try to do the curl thing, which is kind of the backdrop here. It's a curled mustache. It's not what he's.
I don't think I'd be able to pull that off.
So you are at the mercy of your hair patterns. You can't just like I'm following that mustache. No, your mustache grows, and you're like, well, I guess I have this kind of mustache.
Yep, it's got a mind of its own. It's my entire personality as is. It's got a mind of its own too.
There you go. Okay, so who's better? Who's got a better mustache? Are we gonna bother with the vote?
Selleck has to be on this one.
Obviously,
as much as I like you,
I think that the chat might go with Selleck. Okay, number 2, Ron Burgundy.
I'm going to take Tom on this one because we know that one's fake. Well, I don't know it's fake. I don't know it's fake.
I don't know that it's fake. I think he might have grown it for real, but I still think Tom has a better mustache. I think
his is ironic. That's right. Mine's authentic. His is ironic. I think that's where I get the edge.
You, Kendall. Don't talk to Tom like that.
All right, so we got Tom. I got Tom beating Ron Burgundy. That's 1-1 right now for the field against Tom Bogert.
Upset of the century.
Number 3.
Oh my God! No, don't even ask the question. Ron Swanson, and let's.
But this is probably the most equitable of stash growth. You and Ron Swanson. I think you grow a similar stash.
Like comparable. Yeah, they're comparable stashes.
And we had like the kind of the hair that kind of goes across.
I think I'm going to go with Ron Swanson only because that hair helmet is very, very matched well to that.
And the personality that goes with it, it's just a perfect character.
Yeah. See, I've interviewed Tom on the radio, and we connect via Zoom for that. And I've seen him fresh haircut fresh. This picture I've chose is not haircut fresh, Tom Bogert. There's no way. That's like long, right? That's like how do you usually
It's long right now. You just saw what he took.
Yeah,
his
mine
hat
is
off. It's
long right now, to be
now.
fair.
That's true. Okay. All right. Yeah, and you got the sweep on it. Yeah, we're all
I
jealous of your hair
I lost
color.
a bet that I didn't remember making about Brian White making his U.S. national team debut. I need to do a mullet at some point, so I need to let it go so I can do.
So you pay out your bets? You're saying?
Oh no,
I
here
do.
we go.
Man of my
It was
word.
very interesting. Mr. Jason Davis made a bet a while back, lost it, was supposed to shave his beard 2 years ago, and has never done it to this date
But
because
see,
he's worried he would not get any play in his house.
There's two things. There's nothing actually behind the beard. If I shave the beard, I cease to exist. And number two,
personality, nothing.
My wife would absolutely pay no attention to me and probably kick me out of the bedroom until the beard grow back. Now it's only
You shouldn't have bet it.
Maybe that's true. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's
I would never put my mustache on the table.
Now this one feels unfair too. Ted Lasso.
I love Jason Sudeikis, but give me over Ted Lasso.
I'm taking Tom on this one.
Taking Tom on this one.
Give me over Ted Lasso. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
It's
then
too
we
straight
got
across.
Sasha's better.
If he's literally naming himself after
Sasha.
it, I mean,
Now,
you can't.
I chose Red Bull Sasha because you're a Jersey guy, and that made the most sense. But Sasha also has paired his mustache on a fairly regular basis with a little goatee.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the goatee? Have you pondered the goatee as an
My
option?
fiance has heavily vetoed. She puts up with the mustache. So I can't cross that picket fence. I will say the second time I was on MLS 360 on Apple, the executive producers put just me and Sasha zoomed in as far as possible, just me and him kind of side by side for the mustache thing. So I thought that was what the image you was gonna use.
I don't remember. I didn't find that. I was.
Don't blame me. Don't worry.
Speaking of MLS 360, who's older, you or Weeby?
Oh, Weeby's
Weeby.
older.
Weeby's got
Dad,
we
Weeby's
got
got children.
Weeby. I mean, listen, I know 16-year-olds that had children. You know, like
Fair enough.
Because we got Weeby, by the way. I don't know if you know that we got Weeby.
What happened?
No,
What's going on?
We like to say it.
No.
Okay,
We don't have real beef. Now we
just
do
like to say
have. It's not a great story. Only there's not really a whole lot of payoff other than in 2013 when Tom was but a wee lad kicking it around Northern Jersey. Jared
With
and I
Sean
went to
Davis.
Columbus,
Graduating high school.
Ohio. Yeah, playing Sean Davis. We went to Columbus, Ohio for the USA Mexico game. That's the last one that they won before.
That's the
Klinsmann
Clint
showed
Davis.
up
The
in
Clint Dempsey missed the penalty on purpose to preserve the penalty.
And we went to the night before AO party as you do. And
As you do.
at the time, just MLSsoccer.com crew. They weren't the MLS 360.
I think Simon Borg was on that crew.
He
at that
wasn't.
time.
I
Oh,
don't even
Simon
know-
Boyd's a legend. He's the patron saint of Tommy Scoops. Just wanna
It
put
may
that out
have
there.
been the early days of Extra Time Radio for all I know. Right. And we ran into Andrew Wiebe absolutely blasted out of his mind at this party.
Let's not act like we were sober. Let's not act like we were
I didn't
sober.
say, nobody said anything about our state, Jared. Just that Andrew Wiebe was tossed.
Just
And
tossed
he
them
was
with Dory Sours.
He was like, guys, just want you to know, we think of you. You're like our competition, guys. And it was great. It was
Meantime,
the
now I
best.
watch him on TV. That's
Now
why I
he's
got
on TV
Weeby.
with no
You
socks.
watch him and his ankles.
I got
That's what
Weeby.
happens. That's what happens. I'm on the radio, and Jared's still incredibly handsome. That's how time works.
very
Okay,
handsome, Jared.
fun times aside. Can we talk about maybe some? You had my favorite one. You have Tombstone, Pablo Mastroeni in here.
Yeah.
No contest, brother. No contest.
That is the
Yeah.
best one out of all of them, dude.
It's not just the mustache. It is, but it's that you could lift him up and drop him in an old western town, and he would be the sheriff. Like the second he
Oh my
showed up,
God.
they're be like, "You're the
Oh
sheriff."
my god.
Yeah, that's
so
exactly
many
right.
Earth,
Here-
so
here's
many
my
Earth
badge, here's my
vibes.
gun.
Yeah, that's.
I love that. It's hard to, as a guy old enough to remember when he was dreadlock reggae Mastroeni, to see that. It's
know.
quite. He's always been very hair conscious. Like it's always been a look going on, but that one's strong. I
Not
love
a lot of
Elite.
people have that kind of range, like looking good
Elite.
that way and the other way.
I'll tell you, Jay, it's not easy. So we got Tom here. We did some MLS. Can we talk a little bit of Europe stuff? And maybe if Jesus Ferreira is worth 13 million, as we all know, what's Gio Reyna worth?
Oh, he
Probably makes him worth like $6 million.
Yeah. So with numbers being put out there, like 18 to 20s kind of being put out there. First of all, Gio Reyna, are you a fan of the winter move or waiting for a summer move?
Winter, you got to get out of there now, man. Like, I thought this before they re-signed, Dortmund re-signed Jadon Sancho. Like, even without that, I was firmly in like get out now. But like now it's like a need. Like, you need to get out now. It's been unfortunate for Gio because like the injuries and stuff, right? Like, I understood why a move hadn't happened before this because Dortmund were correctly quoting people at like 60, 80 million, right? Like, he's one of the top players in his age bracket in Europe. He hasn't played a ton over the last year with everything. Dude, if you could get him for 18 or 20 million, man, there should be 10 teams lining up for that. Like, they really should.
It sounds like there might be. If
there should be.
Like we've said, 3 in Spain, 3 in France, 2 in Premier League, I think we've been talking. So in your mind, Tom, what's the right league? Let's just start there. What's the right league for you?
Yeah, I like the idea of like France or Spain, or like, and it depends on which team from those leagues, of course. But like, you know, 2 of the public ones now are what, Marseille and Nottingham Forest. Mm-hmm. I would firmly prefer Marseille. Like, because dude, if you're in a relegation battle with Forest and you're in the Premier League, he's a guy who's had injury issues. Don't really want to throw him in the Premier League, right? Like, and the idea of he could come in 2 games if you're not playing well and they feel like, oh my God, we need a point today. He could get on the bench. Then they get a point, and all right, we're just going to use the same 11. Like, I really don't love the idea of the Forest move for him.
Well, there is a I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theory, but there is something else kind of in the air when it comes to Forest and Gio, and that's that Gio has switched agents. He is now signed with Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes, the Portuguese super agent. Jorge Mendes, who represents Nuno Espirito Santo, the recently hired manager of Nottingham Forest. Now, I don't know that it guarantees Nuno's going to play Gio, but I do think that, you know, lanes are being opened up because of relationships. Yeah. That's how Tom knows better than I do, that this is how this works.
So would you rather, and here, Jason, here's a pick your poison for the 2 of you. You guys can decide what it is you want to do here. Nottingham Forest, and he gets 8 starts between now and the end of the season.
Oh.
Excuse me, Nottingham Forest, and he gets 4 starts. Excuse me, Nottingham Forest, he gets 4 starts. Marseille, he gets 7 starts. Is there a difference to you there?
There's 18 games.
You're from Marseille anyway. What's that?
There's 18 games left in the Premier League. I don't want 7 or 4.
I don't know if he's going to come. You think he's just going to walk right in and get that many?
I think it's more likely at Marseille.
That's
okay. 7th place in Ligue 1 right now, but 5 games undefeated.
And not to suggest that they don't have urgency as well for results. I just think that he'd kind of fit into that better.
So they're in 7th, by the way, Marseille, which is not where they want to be because they're Olympique Marseille, but they're in 7th as opposed to Nottingham Forest, who's in 16th and potentially staring down a points deduction, which we don't yet know if that's going to be a thing.
And they have about 700 players on their team.
They got 700 players. They already have an American who's going through it. It's like, it cannot be the best option. It cannot be the best option. He may be that guy, though. And I think you could say that, you know, Weston was this guy when he went on loan to Leeds. Brendan Aronson, I mean, if they come calling for you, you're at Salzburg, and Leeds says, yeah, we want you. You go. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I think Gio may be the guy with options on the table who's like, no, I can hack it in the Premier League. That's the best league in the world. Send me to the best league in the world. Like, he's a cocky sumbitch. Like, we know that he believes in himself. So why wouldn't he take the biggest challenge?
That's fair.
I guess it's the biggest. Well, speaking of challenge, it's going to be the hardest challenges because the dude's going to get knocked around, and that's the thing that concerns me most about going to Nottingham Forest is that it's not going to. He's going to have more time on the ball in these other leagues, and maybe I'm just have a little bit of PTSD regarding Gio in the last few years, but I'd like to see him go someplace where maybe it's not going to be as hard on his body. But I understand wanting to prove himself in the biggest league out there. But there's other teams that maybe you could find a way into. But Nottingham Forest in a relegation battle, it doesn't bother me as much if he doesn't have a buyout clause. If they have an option to buy, that worries me because I don't think they're in the EPL next year. But I don't think Nottingham Forest does the deal.
If they're not in the EPL,
they wouldn't buy. They don't
buy him. Yeah. They don't buy. And by the way, I think it's immaterial if there's a buy option for Nottingham Forest because again, Nottingham Forest has FFP issues. And they're not going to go buy it, and they're not going to even pay $20 million, which is a massive bargain, right? You're getting a massive talent for pennies on the dollar, or pennies on the euro, pound, whatever. They have
Pence
penny?
on the pound.
Pence on the pound?
That's
Whatever
actually a
it
good
is.
phrase. That's a
like
really
that.
good phrase. Does that exist?
Pence on the
Let's
pound?
make it.
I don't know. It's the name of my next album, so look for that. Yeah, if you can get him for that, sure, but Nottingham Forest ain't doing it. So he's there. Presumably he goes because Nuno says, yeah, you're going to play. If he does somehow help save Forest, what a massive glow up
Fair.
that is. And then it's like, okay, now I got my pick. I want to go play with Jude at Real Madrid. Who knows? Maybe it's possible. I don't know. But I think my guess is that there's a lot of very wishful, best case scenario thinking happening right now.
In Europe right now, Tom, is there any other player that needs to make a move? Or is it feels like for the most part, most guys are in where they need to be, but is there a guy out there when you look around, it's like, man, is Ricardo Pepi, is it okay for him to be a super sub on PSV?
Sure.
You know, is there someone else out there just like, man, is Chris Richards, should he be playing defensive midfield for Crystal Palace? Like, is there a guy out there that maybe should looking to make a move at this point, or is it just Gio?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris Richards should mark up on set pieces, but that's we're just going to talk about
whether he's playing
something
midfield
else.
or defense, that's the case.
No, yeah, it's a great point because in the summer, like I was writing about this because it was a point where there was like 12 guys. It was like they all need to move, like Turner and Pulisic and Musa and McKinney and McKinney ended up winning his spot back to Juventus and it worked out Dest. Weah didn't necessarily need to move, but right, like you just got to go down a list. Like the summer is when 10 to 12 guys needed to go, and Horvath, he ended up not getting his move. So I think right now Horvath, I know it's not the sexiest name, but like in terms of like the core guys, like it's Gio Reyna, obviously number one, and then outside of that, most people are settled. Most people just made a move. Again, I would prefer Chris Richards to be playing center back, but kudos to him for being able to get on the field for Palace in the Premier League. Like that's not easy. So
this may not be one that needs to move, but is now the time for Anthony Robinson? Is his stock ever going to be higher than it is right now?
I understand that thought process, but I think it's perfect for him at Fulham. Like he plays every game. He fits their system very, very well. They're comfortably a Premier League team. Like I don't know, like does he go to West Ham? And then what? Like, is there guarantees that he plays? Like, I think he's at a perfect spot.
Be a legend at Fulham instead.
So the other side of the who needs a move is who's made a move relatively recently, and we're all like, I don't know, maybe that's not the right place for this player to be, and you can't take it back, at least not right now.
There's only one person that fits that. You know who that is? Balogun.
That's what Balogun comes to mind immediately for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that's even in that boat? I guess not.
I think
Eunice is too young.
Americans, the 12 that Tom was just saying at the beginning of the season, I think for the most part, the Americans deserve an A or B plus for the moves that they chose to make at that point. Like
I will say, Turner has benefited from Nottingham Forest's other goalkeeper not being good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Brendan Aronson.
Brendan Aronson.
Who's going to take Brendan Aronson at this point?
I don't know if you can.
Don't talk about my skinny adult brother. New Jersey's very young. Nah, man, I thought Union Berlin was going to be awesome for him, and he thought it was going to be awesome for him from what I know, right? Like, he from the promises that club made to what has actually happened, and not just in Brendan Aronson's case. In who's the Italian center back whose name is escaping me?
Yeah, they've spiraled out of control.
But the thing with Brendan Aronson is that I don't put it down to the team. I mean, he got his shots.
I put it down to Berlin.
Really, you think? I just feel like he didn't take the shots he got. He got minutes. He got starts. I mean,
and I thought he was adequate for Leeds. I don't think he was great for Leeds. I thought he was fine. Like I think, again, I don't think that he's been great for Union Berlin. But like if you look up and down that roster, it's not just him that has struggled. There's been so many different players, and like I can tell you, there was false promises, or at least promises that got changed pretty quickly from the recruitment of him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is. I think Brendan Aronson is an excellent example of how important it is to get the club right and to get the situation right. And I guess there are always going to be players who can thrive no matter where they go. And obviously, those are the best players. Those are the best players in the world, right? We recognize that. You could plug that player into anywhere and he'd be great. But if you are not one of the best players in the world, you better be comfortable where you're living. You better have a team that supports you. You better have a coach that likes you. You better have all the stuff that makes just doing a good job possible, right? Because that's the job. If everything off the field is crap, you're not going to play well. That's just not going to happen.
Well, let's
And
talk real
I
quick
don't-
about one of the more, I think, thin spots on the U.S. men's national team roster. And Tom, I'll put you on a spot a little bit. If Copa America was tomorrow, first game, who's your center back combo?
Ooh, I still think it's Reem and dude, like on it again, it's a cop out to say that like it depends a whole lot on form, but
Aaron Long, I understand. After Aaron Long,
I'd lean Miles Robinson honestly, but again,
Really?
it depends a whole lot what he looks like in Cincy because I think that that's a good combination. I think Miles and Walker Zimmerman's a good combination, but I still do think that Tim Ream is the best center back in the pool right now, and he should be the starter. And I like Miles as his partner better than I do Walker.
Okay, Chris Richards playing defensive midfield is the reason you're overlooking him, or
Yeah,
more
honestly, and
issues?
like that might be unfair for me, right? Like that doesn't mean that like it is what it is, right? Like so I would be completely content with say Ream and Richards. I absolutely would. I wouldn't have any qualms, right? Like I think a lot of this is down to personal preference. It's down to matchups and fit and chemistry. Yeah. I think that that's an acceptable answer. I even think, again, Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson's acceptable answer. Again, I would argue that Ream should be one of the two. No matter
I even
what,
think in a team where you're going to maybe play behind the ball for a good amount, if you're playing one of the better teams, you're going to give the ball up. Even CCV is a decent option because if you're dealing with crosses or something like that, you need someone that's a big body in there. I think Miles Robinson is probably the best at his feet of those ones you were just talking about. And
Ream is better with his feet, I'd say.
Oh, I'm sorry. As a compliment to Ream, I meant.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think Ream's the one in pen.
Well,
at least
we're at the point though where Ream's durability is an absolute question.
Yeah, but we're talking this tomorrow. I said this.
And also, but Jason, we talked about this not like we, me, and you, but the idea was going into the 2022 World Cup and World Cup qualifying. Ream is too old. What's the point? And then he's the best center back, really. And like
I know, but
I don't know. I
will
think
be too old. That will happen. I'm not saying it's now.
Yeah, one day, but like I don't know. I think that we're just way too quick to ride people off and be like, no, we need the 19-year-old center back playing. But like, what if the 19-year-old sucks, right? Like,
no.
I don't think that we should just set people away.
But he's missed a month with the ankle.
Yeah,
at this point, right?
Yeah, fair.
I'm just saying that poorly timed injuries happen to everybody.
Shoot him with some stem cells and get him out there.
What'd you say?
Shoot him with some stem cells and get him out there, man.
The Kobe Bryant blood transfusion.
Luis Suarez is shooting himself up in the knee to play.
I'll tell you right now, disc golfers are getting stem cells in the shoulder, man. That's what they're doing to get back out there.
What? The golfers are out there getting.
Tom, you bang chains, dude? Do you bang chains, Tom? Do you ever bang chains? You ever go out
there? No, not banging chains.
Man, come on.
Let's not start with the disc golf situation.
I thought maybe I had that.
No, I mean you've given.
I suck at throwing a frisbee, to be fair. So.
See, you called a frisbee
for the record.
too.
Forget it's a disc, but
see, there it is.
It's like the football soccer debate, kind of.
Yeah, I do sound like a casual, but I think that backs me up saying that I'm not very good.
You're
there it
forgiven.
is. There it is. Tom, this has been. I mean, I feel like I could keep going, but we've taken up a lot of your time. I know the Knicks. Where are they? Is it game over yet? Giving us.
No, the last time I looked at the score, they were winning by like 30. Get ready to learn Bing Bong, buddy.
You're ready to go with the Knicks, and a little less stress around the Knicks than usual. So that's real good. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks
for coming on, man.
Appreciate it, boys. Always
Tom
love being
Bogert,
on. You guys are the best.
Everybody. Yeah, giving us a little bit of his normal insight, but then also giving us some extras as well. Appreciate that. There goes Tom. Jared, any business for us to get to before we say goodbye to the people? Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, if you want to get in with the besties, did you start your stock market a channel yet on the Slack?
We do have a Besties Invest channel if you want to.
Which we take no.
No. It's not. We're not giving advice like do this. We're just talking about what approaches are. I've learned a lot. It's one of those things where, until maybe the last 2 years, if you said let's talk about investment, I would have fallen directly asleep or run fast in the other direction. But now I'm like, okay, look, this is important, right? We should have talked to Tom Bogert about whether he's invested.
Investment advice?
He's gonna get married. He's engaged, so you got to start thinking about the future. It's never too early to open up your IRA, Jared. Do you have an IRA?
I do.
Okay. Do you have a 401k?
I do.
Do you have any other investment accounts?
I don't.
Well, you're doing that. At least you're doing.
I am heavily leveraged in collector discs somewhere, but the market for that's really volatile.
It might be a bubble. It might be a bubble of discs. Yeah. Besties Invest is new. There's incredible channels. There's food channels. There's beer channels, which is not just beer. It's kind of all alcohol, all types of alcohol. We talk about wine. Jared gives us all wine tips, kind of sometimes.
Technically, A-Lock, one of our listeners, he gives me all the ones I get.
It's pretty good. Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. It's not just the Besties community. There are bonus episodes. There are random things that drop all the time.
That's where you get your Nikki Soup and Salad fix.
Yeah. Last
He's up in
week
that
he
chat.
came on the bonus. So we played a very fun game about 80s video games, which does not make us feel old at all that we're talking about video games from the 1980s or anything.
Does make me
What was your favorite Nintendo game? Like a number one first choice Nintendo game?
Contra.
That's pretty hard to beat.
And then I'll say I had a weird fascination with RC Pro-Am.
Oh, everybody! I loved RC Pro.
I don't think a lot of people list that when they think about it, when they talk about like their favorites. I think it's under the radar, but it was good.
I can still hear the sound that started the race.
Like I will say the ability to customize a map in Excite Bike was literally like that. That was a really, really cool feature to be able to build a map.
Yeah. Should we call you out on this? Clayton saying you definitely got.
I got it wrong. I say it wrong all the time. I know I say it wrong. I apologize. One time he gave me the phonetic pronunciation, and I cannot remember what it is.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on that. Maybe we'll need a channel for pronouncing names correctly over there at the Bestie Slack. Is there any soccer news? Anything we didn't talk to Tom about that we should get into? I mean, Weston McKennie.
If we did, we can put it in a bonus. He got a new contract.
There, got an offer on the table.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
€2.5 million a year. What do you think?
I have no idea what he was getting already, so I don't know.
Juve's not awash with cash, despite the fact they're Juve. So they pay guys like Weston McKennie.
If he goes incentive heavy, maybe it's worth it for him if he bets on himself. If they win the league this year, obviously there'll be an influx of cash and they'll be to get Champions League money. So maybe there's something they can improve on there. But man, I mean, again, like we were talking before with Anthony Robinson, is his stock ever going to be higher than it is at the end of this season?
Right. Yeah.
But is he going to find a situation like Juve do in Allegri, who definitely believes in him? There's something to be said about a coach that he obviously has a good relationship with him. The guy was telling him like, "Hey, I don't think this is for you." The guy says, "Let me do the work." Lets him do the work. Proves what he can do. I mean, those two guys seem to have a very, very good understanding of what they want from each other.
My bet is that Weston McKennie is opening up Massimiliano Allegri's food horizons in ways that he never thought would happen. Weston is teaching him about ranch on pizza and mixing pesto and tomatoes and chicken.
And Antonio Giat says, "Why the hell would Weston move?" I mean, because maybe $2.5 million isn't good enough.
Yeah, no, I was doing, euros million doesn't really matter, but if he wants to get paid more, he's not going to stick around at Juve. But if he likes where he is, and that feels like a good amount of money to live in,
I think after the Leeds experience, I think having some place that you are believed in might be worth enough to
and
make
look,
up
there's
that
nothing
money.
that says that Weston McKennie can't sign a new contract with Juve, finish out an excellent year, maybe have another one next year, and then get another move and get somebody comes in 30, 40, 50, who knows what the number would be at that point, and and he racks up some cash on a transfer fee, and maybe he gets paid more. Maybe the Premier League comes back around, and it's a better situation than it was at Leeds, because there can't be anything worse than the situation at Leeds United.
I don't see the point of moving for him. I really don't.
I agree.
He's going to play Champions League football.
But money. Like if somebody called you up, Jared, and said, "Hey," or if your company offered you money and it was just a little bit more than you're making now, somebody else said, "We're going to double your money, but you got to move."
Okay, say the guy goes. They say the dude goes to Brighton, top 7 team in EPL right now. Would you rather live in Brighton or Turin?
Yeah, man, the seaside.
You got your boy Weah there.
Come on, they wear those striped swimsuits like in the old fashioned days. I don't know if they still do that, but
they got the tents you change in on the beach.
This is an interesting point. He can make up the money when he moves to MLS at 32. MLS paying $4 to $5 million a year like Bradley. Michael Bradley made $6 and change.
I don't think everyone. Pulisic's the only one that Americans going to get Bradley money.
No, I think Weston McKennie could get 6 or 7 right now. Right now, I think he could.
What are the odds you would put on them going back to Dallas of all places? They're never going to spend the money. They're never going to spend the money.
Nah. Weston McKennie belongs in probably Los Angeles, to be honest with you. He probably belongs in L.A. What is that? You're from Ontario. What are you doing?
Those are my guns.
What are you doing? All right. Is it telling? And I'm literally spending no time on this. Is it telling that not at one point through an hour and 4 minutes and change did we mention the U.S. men's national team game that just happened?
What's there to talk about? A bunch of dudes I didn't recognize.
You don't wanna-
played
you wanna-
good. I played a decent 15 minutes of football at the end.
Yeah, you want to break down Esmir? That's the guy. That's the guy. That's
Listen,
the one
I'll say his
guy.
first name because I can't say his last name. Can you?
Oh, you don't think that was strategic? Don't call me out on it.
I can't do it. There's a K and a J next to each other. I don't know what to do. Like,
Well,
it
can't be worse than what you did. What you did here. It can't be worse than what you did to our man.
You say it.
I'm not.
See,
You think
see,
I'm stupid. No chance. All right.
hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron. That's right.
Lock.
We are done for this episode of the Best Soccer Show. Again, please go to the Patreon and sign up so you can get all the extra content. Give us a rating and a review. I don't think we push that hard enough. Ratings and reviews really help us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Yeah, let's do that, and we'll talk to you guys next week? Probably. Let's do it. All right. Bye.
Damn, dog, that's in a post.
Michael freaking Orozco Pascal.
You, Kendall. Don't talk to Tom like that. It's okay.
Get to the chopper!
It was there. Oh, here we go, saucing them up. Hit him, wet.
What are we doing? I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
Go to DEFCON 2.
Who asked those questions?
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
WNBC. WNBC.
Jay Rodius.